100.
100.
100.
100.
100.
100.
100.
100.
100.
100.
100.
100. Hey, London.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going good.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on Friendeavor. This is our 100th video on
It's
YouTube.
insane. That's so exciting.
100. Yeah, thank you. It's been
Yeah.
kind of a crazy journey. But I've always wanted to do interviews since the very beginning, as soon as we launched, and finally got to the point where we're able to do it. And I thought, who better to have than my friend London on as our first interview? So
That's so fun.
yeah, can you tell us a little bit about
Well,
yourself?
I
How
feel
old you
super
are?
honored. I am 28 years old and I'll be 29 next month. So I don't know when this airs, but I might be 29 when this airs.
No, you won't. You'll still be
And
28 then.
no, okay. I'll still be 28. So we're gonna hold on to that as long as I can. I am married and my husband and I live in Mexico, in Rosarito, Mexico.
That's awesome. And you guys are super like doing the work of God and everything
Yes,
down there. That's
100%.
incredible.
Yeah.
There's
Exciting. Yeah.
good reports coming back every week, and I'm really
Yeah.
thrilled to hear about that.
Yeah.
As much as I love your missions work, we are focusing on your business this week. We're talking about friendship in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So to kick us off, can you tell us a little bit about your business, how you started it, where that stemmed from?
Okay. So I have a small business and which is rapidly becoming a large business, but technically it's still considered a small business. But it's a small business. We sell women's and children's clothing. We do kind of a vast variety of styles and types. Obviously, we do our best to keep everything as modest as you would want it to be. And we have fun with our clothes. Clothing for me is it's so much a part of our expression. And so to be able to put something out there that can make you be able to express yourself in a little bit more fun and enjoyable way, to where you wake up every day and you're like, this is fun. Like, I enjoyed getting dressed. It's something that is really fun to be a part of.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so I know that you've got friends that help you run the business. So how did you choose who to take on as like employees and partners? Because I know it could be like finicky, and we'll get into this more throughout the interview, but just like, what made you choose those people to start off with?
So starting the business was kind of something that, it was actually something my mom and I had talked about for years, and we'd thrown it around over the years, and it had never really got legs, and it was just something like, that would be fun, and then never really made it beyond, a topical conversation or whatever. And then we kind of, during the time of the pandemic, when we had a little bit more time, we really sat down, like, let's do this, that would be fun. And so we made the decision, and as you do with your friends, I shared it with my friends of like, hey guys, this is what I think I'm going to do. What do you think about this? And immediately they were so excited. And the next thing was, what can we do to help? Like, how's that for friendship, obviously? And so they just were immediately on board and jumped in. And from there, in just their willingness to be like on board with what I was doing, they have become a huge part of the business itself.
That's so incredible. Supportive friends
Yeah.
and the supportive circle. And of course, just the body of
Yeah.
Christ in general is pretty
Yeah.
much always going to be on your side, which is an incredible feeling. Yeah. So if any, if at all, how does your personal relationship with these people and your professional relationship, how do they like coincide? Do they ebb and flow? Does it affect it at all?
So I think it depends. I have an interesting dynamic because my business partner is my mom, who's also my really good friend. So we even have a weird friendship dynamic. And obviously, we have figured out how to balance that weird, like, okay, when is it work? When is it family? When is it, what are we doing here? And so we've done our best as like joint partners to figure that out. But then also, I'm working with not just my mom, who's my friend. Obviously a different friend relationship
Right.
than some of my other friends who are working with me. And we just try to really balance between like, what's work, what's your friendship, and trying to let the work things stay the work things and not taking them outside of the work environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I could definitely see how that would be something that you'd have to navigate, especially because it's so different as not just being friends, but having the third party of like the church, right? So not only are they your
Yeah.
personal friends, they're your work people, and then you go to church with them. So that's definitely something that
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
navigate
There's
in
a
an
lot of
interesting.
dynamics everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. So what challenges have you faced, like maintaining a friendship while running a business, or if not like a straight up challenge, what is, can you give us an example of something you've had to navigate?
I think probably one of the biggest like difficulties in working with your friends is finding time to just be friends and just hang out, because it's really easy to let work kind of bleed into all that, because we all know how much work the other one has, and we all know, oh, we're all together, we should be doing this, or we could prioritize this or whatever, but your friendship is also a priority. And so finding time to really prioritize friendship, especially since I moved. And so when I come home, and I'll come home for like 3 days and we do a blitz work weekend, it's also really important to prioritize those times together in friendship, and just taking an hour away of like, hey, we're just gonna sit down and drink coffee. Obviously, we typically go to coffee because
Yeah.
we like to go to coffee shops, but also sometimes it's just like, okay, we're gonna take a break and eat together instead of like eating while we work. We're gonna
Yeah.
sit down and just talk and hang out and spend time together, because obviously that's really important to your relationship.
Yeah, that's something that Kayla and I are navigating right now, is because she started off just being my graphic designer, and then obviously she's family now. And so
Yeah.
like we're growing this together at this stage. And so we're learning how to stop talking about it at family dinner, and how to like
Yeah.
schedule a meeting to have it, or whatever. So we just came up with this
It's such a weird dynamic.
it really is. And I
Yeah.
didn't quite grasp it, because I'm so excited, I just want to talk about it all the time, and she's excited, we want to talk about it, but like, it's Easter, so we can't talk about it or whatever.
Yeah. So
It's
what
just like having a boundary.
I think I interrupted you. Did you come up with the solution?
Oh, well, we have this project management software now, where
Okay.
we can like list all the things we want to do and when we want them done by, and we can assign them to ourselves, to each other, and then it really helps us stay on track, because ours is more of like a linear like
Yeah.
project line. Yours is like a, everyday orders, shipping out, whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
Or like big scale decisions. Ours is just like, okay, this is our next goal, so we got to do this, that,
Yeah.
and the other until we get there. But it was definitely something that
That makes sense.
we had to navigate too.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you have to be intentional about finding where your boundaries are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
So
mean, as is with anything.
you're right. Yeah. But sometimes it gets like lost in the shuffle, especially when you're
Yeah.
comfortable with these people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you share an
It's
example,
yeah.
a specific example of a time when your friendship positively impacted your business decision? So did your friend, maybe not even your business partner, but like one of your employees slash friends, come up with an idea or something to help your business grow in just a positive way?
Yeah, definitely. So actually, so two things. I think as like a little bit less specifically in general, one of the biggest probably like benefits of working with your friends is they know what's going on in my life. And so if something happens, if a family member is going to the hospital, I can be like, hey guys, can we table work for the next few hours? And can we show back up at 11:30 tonight and we'll work till 2 in the morning? And because they're my friends, they've been down to, or vice versa, if they've got a family situation going on, or whatever it is, a birthday party or something, we kind of all we know what's going on. And so there's more of a willingness to like work together and like, okay, this doesn't like the 9 to 5 doesn't work. What if we come back tonight, or whatever. There's a lot of flexibility with knowing each other, and I think that's a really big benefit of friendship. A little bit more specifically would be the we call it the Younger London. So the Younger London was actually not originally a part of my vision, if you will, or at least in the beginning. It wasn't something I intended on doing from the beginning. But Lucretia and my mom, and it was very funny because I typically am not somebody that gets bulldozed. I've got my foot put down and this is what we're doing. And I felt like they just bombarded me and were like, no, we've got to do this.
You got to
like,
do this.
This is how, and I mean, they knew what we were going to do, how we were going to do it, how they were going to help do it, because it was a little bit beyond my plate at that time. And the two of them really, obviously in a very hilarious and fun family relationship way, because we are like a family, especially when you're working like this. is they were like, no, we have to do this. And ultimately it was a great decision. And
Yeah.
so the whole Younger London was it largely in part due to them. It probably still wouldn't be in existence if it was just up to me.
I love that. That is the definition of
Mhm.
a positive impact from a
Yeah.
outside, if you will.
Yeah.
Your overarching explanation at the beginning really reminded me of that scripture in Galatians, bear ye one another's burdens.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't just have to apply to like, you know, spiritual things. The Bible is so like
Yeah.
encompassing that it can affect our work life. It can affect our workflow and how we need it to work. And that's really cool that you've incorporated that into your
Yeah.
business
And
structure.
even to take that a little bit more spiritually is ultimately my decision to open a business and do something, and my friends' support has put me in the position to live on the missions field, work full time for my business, and my friends work for me part time. And we are able to do this in this way. And I'm able to do the mission that God has called me to do because they were on board just as friendships. They were bearing my burden back then, and even more so, they're bearing the burden of the church now
I love that.
because of their decision.
I love that. Kingdom expansion on
Yeah.
both sides. You
Yeah.
know, pastor
Really.
always says like obviously we need people to go to the field, but not everyone can, because if we did, then we
Yeah.
wouldn't have anybody to support the people on the
Yeah.
field. So
Yeah.
not only financially, but also just bearing the burdens and helping the kingdom grow from a
Yeah.
financial side, also from the actual on the field side. So we
Yeah.
talked about the positive, but I feel like it wouldn't be an interview if we didn't get to the nitty-gritty a little bit.
Yeah.
So on the flip side, has there been any instances with personal conflicts that's affected the business either like negatively, or if you hadn't dealt with it, it would have? And like, how did you address that situation?
I think that goes back to like finding your balance and knowing your relationships with people. And so obviously, I honestly I can't think of a specific time like where I could tell you that all the circumstances, but I know there have been times where we've disagreed or we've been frustrated with each other for sure. But ultimately finding where somebody's frustrated at somebody or at the situation where it's just work. I mean, life and work and things, everything doesn't go right. It's just the nature of life. And so obviously you get frustrated. And so that can be a weird dynamic of like, okay, you're my friend, but also like you're not pulling your weight right now, and
Yeah.
how do you have those conversations and finding where's the balance here and being like, yo, what's going on?
Okay.
Okay, so my sister works for me, and so if she's not pulling her weight, obviously it's easy to be frustrated at her or whatever. But I also am my sister-in-law, and so I know that her daughter was up all night, and so I might try to have a little bit more patience of like, yeah, no, last night was a rough night. Hey, I'm gonna text her and be like, hey, can we get this finished by this time, and be a little bit more lenient. So it
Yeah.
might not necessarily be a negative. It's just having to find that flexibility because the relationship is most important.
Right. Yeah. So it seems like having a little bit of foresight to know, because I like I work for people who, and obviously it's not like a personal, like a relationship kind of thing, but
Yeah,
they feel like life comes second. And I'm like, absolutely
yeah,
not. Life does not come second. Life comes first. Work comes second, and that kind of thing. But it's nice to know that like a compassion element is present when
yeah,
you're in a work environment, because you have to. Like,
yeah,
life is not predictable, and to have the foresight to be like, okay, we know that all of us are going to fall short at some point, but that's where we pull together and we make it work.
yeah. We've been talking. They're all gonna kill me for saying this again because I feel like I've said this so many times in the last couple of months. To me, I feel like because most of the people who work with me, they work with me, they are connected to the church super heavily, and they have their own personal lives. And so there's an example that I've seen is that in life you have glass balls and you have bouncy balls. And for me, the Young London is our bouncy ball. And so if sometimes you have to let it drop, you let it drop and you say, hey, somebody else pick this up really quick. Your kids are not dropping on my behalf. The church is not, whatever your commitment to the church and music and ministry and whatever in your job. I don't want to be the reason why you weren't able to carry your glass ball and it dropped because of me. And so for me, I feel like the Young London is our bouncy ball. And so when you have to drop it, you just drop it and say, hey, someone else pick it up.
I love that example. I am absolutely stealing that. So
I
you may
stole
or
it from somebody.
you may or may not get credit, but I'm definitely gonna be like, "Oh, yes, I had this one time," and
Just so you heard it from somebody's heart.
another cough break. I just except for I didn't mute myself for that one. I just went ahead with that.
It's okay.
All right, yeah, I love that. That's a really good example. So, what advice would you give to someone who's considering starting a business with a close friend as their employee or their business partner?
I would say prioritize your friendship. Your relationship matters more. And I mean, obviously money's cool and success is cool, but your relationships are that's what's going to be there for you. And those are the people that when your business fails and when you're out of money, that's who's there for you. And so if you have prioritized everything else over them, then you're going to be up creek. And so I would say prioritize your friendship whenever possible.
Mhm. I've heard stories, and I'm sure you have too, of like two friends who go into business, and it's more of like a almost like a legend kind of thing. And like they had this, they were so
Yeah.
young and they were looking ahead to the future, and they were killing themselves working, and then they got to a point where they had a falling out because they didn't they didn't have a good
Yeah.
balance. And
Yeah.
that's like such a horror story to me because how many great ideas, kingdom wise
Yeah.
or just secular wise, have fallen by the wayside because we didn't have like the communication and the balance, or I should say, they didn't have the communication and the balance to see that great idea come to fruition. Because I mean, climbing a mountain is not just like right. You got to go
Yeah.
around and around and
For
around,
sure.
and yeah. So
Yeah, I think putting priority in your relationships. Obviously, there's all the horror stories, but I mean, if you keep God at the center of things, and if you're prayerful and you're mindful, and you keep a good attitude and you keep a good spirit, and you figure out where you're falling short, and be open and honest about yourself and with yourself and with God and with your friends. I think it's I wouldn't say easy because obviously everything has its difficulties, but that's not the hard part.
mhm, yeah, that's good. That's good. So if you and I know that the business is still relatively young. I mean, it's what, like
Mhm.
2, 3 years old?
We're 2.5 years, something like
Okay.
that. Yeah. So yes, we're a little baby
You're
business.
a little baby company. You're still a pretty young company. So how do you like
Yeah.
foresee managing disagreements and differing opinions between your employees? So like not so much you as their friend, but creating a cohesive working environment to still reach the same goal.
So that's difficult and obviously something that I'm still learning because this is a new role for me too. But I think, I mean, it's been modeled really great to me. I've had really great bosses. I've had really great working environments. And so I've seen where they've obviously done their best to help people figure out their own relationship and only get involved when it really needed somebody to get involved because people are going to work out their things. They may not always love each other and that's their bestie, but they're going to find a balance where they can work together. Now, obviously, I've got an extra fun dynamic because we're all friends and we're all close. And so I think finding that balance of knowing when, no, like finding, okay, there's always two sides to every story and knowing people's situations. I think that's where like being friends comes in to play is it goes back to that same thing. If and we'll use Haley again is like if your daughter was up all night and so you're a little bit edgy today, then you know maybe I need to be a little bit more patient, or maybe our other coworkers need to be a little bit more patient with you today. Now it doesn't excuse you being sassy, but and not that Haley actually is
Yeah.
super in control of her emotions, but just in general, I mean, I can be
Yeah.
sometimes. If I flew in, early that morning and I'm like trying to work or whatever, and which I try to create an environment where if I know that I'm having a bad day or I'm tired, I'm just gonna be like, hey, everybody, I'm tired today.
Yeah.
I might have a bad attitude. And so we just try and laugh about it. And that's
Just
kind of
letting you know up front that this might be the
just letting
case.
you know, I'm like, I got this short of a fuse. So
That's
we kind of do that. It's like we come
yeah.
in and we just it's been the worst day today. I have a bad attitude. And so we'll laugh. But that's kind of where being friends comes into play. Or even they'll be like, oh my word, I had the worst day, or I have a migraine, or I have the flu, or I broke down on the way to work. Then you walk in and obviously you're not in the best mood, but that's your friend. And so you're like, bad mood. I'm in a bad mood. Everyone be nice to me. Or,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be nice to you. I'm in a bad mood. And so we've kind of, that's where the friendship really has made it where we're comfortable expressing our emotions and being like, this is who I am today. I know it's wrong. I know I need to be better. I probably should be nicer today, but it's just not gonna happen. So be
So
patient
it
with
yeah.
me.
So making it like a company culture thing, like it's
Yeah.
everyone is kind of comfortable to do that because if
Yeah.
you make
And
it so like it's just the boss who feels comfortable to do that, then everyone's like, "Hey, where's my bad day? Why can't I
yeah.
why
Well,
can't I
and
do?"
then kind of giving that balance is if you come in and you haven't expressed that you're having a bad day, then we might just call you out on it. If you're being sassy and being like,
Yeah.
whoa, what happened? What has your day looked like? And then we'll kind of be like, did you sleep last night? Are you sick? What is wrong with you because you were so short? And that goes back to being friends. We know each other. And so if you come in and your temper is short or you come in and you're being mumbly and grumbly, I know you and I know something's wrong with you. And so ultimately, as your friend, I want to know what's going on. But if we're going to sit here and work together, then what on earth is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Pull it together.
Pull it
you
together.
know,
Fix your
and
face.
finding out, fix your face, finding out, okay, is this something bad or are we just in a bad mood? And it
Yeah.
obviously, as your friend, if it's something bad, then we're going to sit down and we're going to pause and we're going to figure out what's wrong with your life or how we can be friends, how we can help the situation. But if it's just a bad day and we just got to get through it, then let's power through it. But I just want to know what's going on with your attitude because
Yeah.
we all got to fix our face sometimes.
We do. And sometimes we just need people to remind us that
Yeah.
we gotta fix our
That's
face.
friendship, though.
That's friendship. That is and to go back to your point about, like, being upfront with it, that reminds me, I went into work this morning, I'm doing a long-term sub job, and I went in and I sat the kids in a circle and I was like, "Miss Anderson's feeling under the weather. Who knows what under the weather means?" And they're like, the weather's not good." I was like, "No, I'm sick and I'm grumpy." So I was like, "I don't wanna repeat myself 1,000 times today." I still had to, but I tried to be, like, upfront, like, with them.
Yeah, I think it helps, especially with it being your friend. Because if you're normally a happy-go-lucky person, and then you come in and you're so grumpy, then something is obviously wrong,
Yeah,
you know? And so is it something that's really wrong or you just having a bad day? And if you're just having a bad day, then whatever, get over it, get back to work. But if
yeah,
something's wrong, then we're gonna work, talk about it and work through it
yeah,
because we're friends first.
that's awesome. Alright, last question. How do you prioritize and we've talked about this a little bit, but I just if you could go into some specifics, how do you prioritize both your friendship success and the success of your business? Like, do you have any steps that you take or tips that you could give to someone who wants to start a business, but they're really afraid of something one or the other failing instead of both succeeding?
Um, yeah, I think obviously we've talked about it, but I think finding that balance, it's a constant battle of knowing when to prioritize what. Is the work the priority right now, or is the friendship the priority? And finding what's priority for that day. And most of the time it's probably going to be work, but sometimes it's friendship, and you have to be willing to set the work aside and run and get a coffee just because that's what your friendship needs that for that moment. And you just expect to stay late that day. um, but a specific step would probably be, I think, one, having and I know that everybody says this, but like one, truly having a space that's safe for open and honest communication in your friendship and in your work, and knowing when, okay, this is getting to be too much. And so giving a space where like, this is a time where we're going to talk about this. And if this isn't working, then we have to be willing to change and adjust, even if it's not what's best for me. If this is what's best for us as a whole and as a group, then we have to be willing to change. So putting a space where you're hearing what people are saying, not just this is the decisions. And then I think scheduling time, being very specific about your schedule, scheduling time for fun, is that, or being together or just enjoying, and scheduling time for that. And maybe it's not every time. For me, I come home on like 3-day weekends, and so not every time that I come home do we schedule it, but we try to as many times as we can because that's a priority. And so scheduling it. So steps for success. One is for your friendship is making space for open and honest communication, making sure that your friends remain a priority in your life and not letting the work outweigh the friendship. sometimes the work is the priority for the day, but in general, you're maintaining your relationship as a priority in your life. Obviously, you're always balancing what's priority for the moment, but finding what is the priority for your life, making sure that they're still a priority day to day. And then scheduling time for your friends and also time for your work. And so obviously making friendship a priority and spending time together a priority. And then I think for me personally, and as the person who's in charge and the business owner, is you have to be willing to put in the work. And so knowing that ultimately it's if you put your friendship over priority for the day, you're gonna have to come back and work and you have to be willing to do that. It's not a deterrent. It's how passionate are you? Is this really what you're willing to put in the time? Are you willing to stay up late for it? If you are, then do it and go for it. And it's awesome and it's exciting and amazing. Obviously, it has difficulties. Obviously, you still have to work. But if it's what you're passionate about and if it's something you're excited about, then do it and put in the work. But know that nobody else is going to be willing to put in the work the way you're going to put in work. And so ask everybody to come along, but you can't get angry when they don't come where you want to go. If they're not willing to stay up till 3 in the morning, then you have to be like, you know what? Everybody else left. Everybody else went to sleep. But I'm gonna sit here and do this because this is what I have to do.
Mhm.
I think that's a big deal. And then obviously it's not cliche at all because it really is the reality is keeping God first and keeping him center of your life and your focus, the purpose behind your business. What is your goal? Where are you wanting to take this business? You know, in ministry, is it in finance and in mission and whatever? How is your business impacting the kingdom? And if you keep that thing focused and the priority of what you're doing, I think it kind of bleeds into your relationships and into your business in all aspects, regardless of if you're working with your friends or not. I think obviously keeping God center of everything that we do really does have a big impact.
Yeah, I think that revelation kind of, hit me about, like, I'm the person that this ends with, right? There's no one above me who's going to care as much about this. They might
Hmm.
be interested, they might even be willing to help, but at the end of the day, this is my dream and this is my vision, and
Yeah,
if you can get people on your team that are willing to go all the way with you, that's incredible, but you can't be disappointed when it's like the buck
yeah,
stops here, right? Like, I'm the person it's my name on the business, so to speak.
yeah,
Like, I'm the person who's gonna be the most passionate about this, and I have to be okay with that. So, yeah,
yeah.
that was
That's
definitely
that's a
something.
big thing is you have to be okay with the people you love and your friends, your family, anybody else not being willing to do what you're willing to do. They may be excited for you. They're going to be excited for you. They're going to be happy for you. They're
Yeah,
going to support you, but nobody's going to do what you feel like has to be done because it's your vision. And so that's, it's yours. And so
yeah.
you have to do it.
It's just like it's your friendships, it's also your business, so,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, thank you so much for
of course.
taking the time to do this interview for our 100th video. I
This
can't
is
believe
so
it's
exciting.
already here. We just passed our 2nd birthday at Friendeavor.
That's
May
amazing.
2nd was our
How
2nd
fun.
birthday.
Happy
So,
birthday.
thank you. So we got a lot of cool
Do we
stuff on the
sing?
horizon. Take it away.
How about no? We're both coughing. We definitely
Wait,
couldn't
no,
sing.
I wonder how many times in the video it looks like I'm going like this. Okay, you can't edit that out. It just is like you mute it and you hope for the
It
best.
is what it is. It's okay.
I need to fix my face.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I'm like, ha 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 again.
100%.
For
100%.
for my lovely viewers right now, I feel the need to explain what fix your face means. A variation of the story. So London and I used to sing together like every service at the Rock Church before she so rudely moved away. And she and I were on the platform one time, and you see a lot. You see a lot from the platform, right? I
Yeah.
mean, everything. You see
Sometimes things
everything.
we don't care to see.
Most of the time.
Most of
Most
the
of the
time.
time.
So
So
many stories.
so London and I were on the platform one time, and I promise you, it was like to the split second we saw the same thing occur at the same time. It was like, and like an idiot, I don't know why, I turned to her to like be like, "Did you see that too?" And before, like, I had no sooner turned to her that she's like, "Fix your face, fix your face." we're on the platform, fix your face. And so now I just every time I'm up there and I see something, I'm like, fix your face. Because that's what
Yeah. It's the ultimate response of like, get it together. It's
yeah,
just quick
yeah.
and nobody else knows what you're saying, but it fixes it.
I need like a big sticker, like just on my glasses that says like, get it together, fix your face, something like that. Because it's just,
Yeah.
hey, people do it to themselves. I'm telling you, you cannot do
They
the things you
do.
do and
They
expect my
they
face
100%. But you
and
need to
expect
fix your face
and
sometimes.
expect my
As your
face
friend.
to not be
As
fixed.
your friend, respectfully, fix your face.
Listen, viewer, if you don't get anything else out of this interview today, if you didn't learn anything about friendship and entrepreneurship, learn that you need to fix your face because
Yeah.
that is
And
what's most important.
you need a friend who's gonna tell you fix your face
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
With a
So,
nice big gritted teeth.
oh, that was so funny. That was a good time.
Oh, it was a great time.
Yeah. So, tell us a
Uh,
little bit more about the missions work. How's it going?
it's going good. We are running like 25 to 30 people.
That's
Depends
incredible.
on what's happening each week, life. We've had a few people get baptized, people get the Holy Ghost.
It's
We just
incredible.
painted our building. We've got a sign incoming.
Love
So
it.
we're kind of, getting our name out there a little bit more, doing outreach on Saturdays. We're going on our first ladies friend event this weekend. So that's kind of
What?
fun. Yeah,
Okay, I need a
perfect timing.
full breakdown via
Yeah,
text about
we're
that.
doing,
Okay.
I think technically it's like a Mother's Day thing, but it's not Mother's Day here in Mexico. So we're doing, it's a friend day together. So perfect for Friendeavor weekend.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so we're having a revival.
I heard your
We
interpreter
have,
just got the
yeah,
Holy Ghost.
our interpreter just got the Holy Ghost.
Thank
Yes.
God.
Yeah, praise God. Yeah.
Your dad
So
was
we've
cracking
got,
me up about that. He's like, how much more powerful would the preaching be now that
I know, right?
now that it's flowing through a vessel that actually it's got
I
the
know,
Holy
it's
Ghost.
exciting. But yeah, so we've got that. My personal capabilities. So I play the piano and I sing and I run track. So how bad that is. But you know
No,
what? We're having a
that's
revival. And so
awesome.
it's working. Yeah. Prior to moving to Mexico, I did not play the piano. Or it had been like 10 years since I sat at the piano. I used to do recitals and all that jazz, but like like the little grade school ones,
Yeah.
not
Do
like
you
the
have
good
a
ones.
you know how like we loved to complain about, oh my word, we sing this song all the time. Are you that person now? Is there a
Oh
song that you
yeah.
sing all the time?
Yeah. Okay. So we just sing the same songs like we just basically at this point swap every other weekend.
There you go. Hey, we
So
do that
we've
too.
just added a couple I'm dead. We added two for Easter, we added 2 new songs to our repertoire. So yeah. Maybe for Mother's Day we'll throw in a new song.
Yeah, it could be like,
So
our mother
Our
who
Father.
is on the planet.
If the Rock Church does not sing Our Father for Mother's Day, then my heart will be broken.
Can you believe? I don't think we did last year.
Oh, that's so sad.
Hey, I'm not sad. I was happy. I probably have to cut that part out now, but
Yeah,
like,
probably.
are you also the
Word.
Sunday school teacher?
I also am the Sunday school teacher. Yeah, so we do Saturday Sunday school because
Okay.
we don't have our space for Sunday school and we
That
don't have
sounds like a
Sunday school teachers.
punishment.
I know. We gotta come up with a
Saturday
different
school.
name for it. Yeah, I mean, we haven't called it Saturday Sunday school, but in our heads when we talk about it, we call it Saturday Sunday school. Um, we just do we do a service for the children on Saturdays when we do it.
There we
So
go.
it's kind of more like a VBS type vibe because we do like a one big Saturday event. Come by the church. We do food. The same idea of the Sunday school. It's just a Saturday morning event.
That's cool. I just had an idea. Next time you're in town, please let me
Mhm.
know. I will give you some devotionals to take back for when you
Yes,
want to
I
do
would
Bible
love to. That
studies.
would be really cool. Yeah, that would be really neat.
They're like notebook style so that you can like obviously they're in English. Ooh, maybe I should get them translated.
Ooh,
I just thought of that.
we can work on it.
Well, for at least the translator.
We've got 2 young ladies who speak English. One of them speaks English really well. One of them is learning to speak English. So it would be something that's really cool to do with them.
Yes, please
Even at
let
this
me
point,
know.
and they're in the process of learning and growing in their English. So it would be a really cool tool for us to work together and do
Yeah.
English and Spanish together. So
Let me know when you're in
yeah,
town and
it
I
would
will
be
make sure
really cool.
I have those for you.
Okay, so tell me about the rest of your materials.
Well, okay, so I first launched the journal, the
Yes.
365 journal. That
Okay.
one was last year, so that's like on Amazon. And then I've got the
Okay.
devotional. I've got volume 2 coming out
That's
hopefully the
exciting.
end of summer. And then
Okay.
I've got a new book called 52 Friend Dates. So it's like things that you can do with your
Oh,
friends
that's so fun.
coming out at the end of May.
Does it involve a coffee date?
Even better, it's got coffee tasting as one of the dates.
See, okay, this is what I'm here for.
'Cause listen,
That's my number one date idea.
I
Friend date idea.
I was trying not to do like basic ideas because the whole
Yeah.
point people would be turning to a
Yeah,
book.
everybody goes to coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole point someone would be turning to a book for ideas is to get like a fresh idea. So my
Yeah.
idea
Oh, I
is
love
that
that.
you order like coffee from around the world, or you get like a sample box or whatever, and you try different like brewing styles and different
That's so cool. I love that.
grinds and like so French
Okay,
press,
yeah.
whatever, espresso, that kind of thing, and just try
Yeah.
it all in one night.
That's really cool. This is what we do, so it's not like we stole the idea from the book, but this is basically what I do when I come home is me and Boston and Haley and Peyton do this, and we all bring whatever coffee we have, and we have a little coffee date together,
There you
and
go.
it's always so fun.
And if you're
Yeah.
like me, you'll have this at night and then you'll stay up all night because you can't
Of
sleep.
course, yeah, why not?
That's just
the
part
best
of
time
it.
to do it.
That's just part
Yeah.
of it. Hey, that's good for if you have to pull an all-nighter for your business.
Yeah, 100%.
Dude, you need to sync that up sometime and like
Yeah,
make
we
that
need to
work for
figure this
you.
out. Yeah, we're
All
gonna
right.
we're scheming over here.
Yeah. Well, I won't
It's
keep
getting
you.
dark. I'm losing light.
It's getting dark in here
Oh,
too.
okay.
Thank you again so
All
much
right.
for
Of
being
course,
a
I'm
part
so
of this.
excited.
Definitely
Yeah.
would love to have you back in the future, and God bless you and all of your efforts
Yeah.
and all that stuff, and I will see you next time you're home.
Of course. All right. Love you. I'll see you next time.
Love you too.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.